this is probably one of the most polarizing chapters. You can have one of the best chapters in the world and one of the worst chapters in the world, right? Like one after the other. What we're going to do here is we're going to preset. We're just going to hit down arrow, and then we're going to look back and forth and try and get a car next to us. You know, normally I like a faster car than schmoozer. That's another thing that you've got to figure out. You kind of figure out which cars are fast and which cars aren't fast.
Fortuna che siamo riusciti ad arrestare quei pagliacci rapinatori, altrimenti si
we want to go up left and then right here to the bridge. And with this car, we're going to stop right about here. So right one dot away from the arrow. And that's going to pre-give the next cutscene. Frank talks his heart out. And then we're able to skip here. Just spamming Y and A there. And this is one of the big... This is one of the new things for Undercover Percent. If you've never played... If you've seen the old Undercover Percent and you're like, how have you shaved off another 6 minutes? I mean, it's not purely because of this, but a couple minutes have been shaved off because of what we do next. We are going to get the farmer costume, which we normally get in Chapter 9, here in Chapter 2. It's going to enable us to do a whole lot of glitches, and it's super, super fun to use. Very, very, like, high-skilled, though. You're going to have to practice what we're doing here a couple times, and that's okay. It took me 2 months to, like, really get the hang of what we're doing here, and even still, I have lapses in skill. Player 1 is going to go to the gas station here, and player 2 is going to take, we've got a torsion here, I like Transter, but, you know, this is, I'll be able to show you guys how to clip normally with this. We're going to get this brick over here, and, because Ellie's talking a little bit. Player 2 is going to move all the way to the farm here. We want to get that farmer costume, and you're like, how are we going to get it? Don't worry, I'll show you. We're going to go in with player 2, get that super brick there, because we know we've got that game knowledge, and we've already got some bricks, and we preset right by, you want to hit that grate right there with player 1, and you trigger this cutscene right here. And what's very important is that whatever car you have here, you don't want to break it for this next trick that we're about to do. Player 1's going to have to do a little more things here, because no cars are spawned in right now, so you've got no backup. We don't even need to do the gas station thing. We've got torsion here. We're going towards the farm. If you've played the game before, you might be like, oh yeah, this is where the farmer costume is, and you're totally right. Player 1 right now is going to build this super build. We've got enough bricks for it. We've calculated that into the run. And player 1 and player 2 are going to do a little dance. With player 2 here, we are going to want to drive in to the farm, and we're going to set up the car right along this line here. And torsion is a little bit of a sucky car to drive. We're actually going to get out player 2 here, because if we keep player 1 in the car, we can't move it when player 1 is spawning in the car. You do have to spawn in this car, and I'm going to hop on the hood with second player. Again, as you practice, you start to do these things simultaneously, get this set up, you know, muscle memory. You can just spam A, car spawns in, and this is one of the fun parts of this is a good part. We're going to teleport all the way to player 2. Player 1 is going to get in the car, and player 2 is going to... You're going to want it, you know, just, it's alright, take your time. You want player 2 to be right off the edge of the car. This might work, this might not. It's a very precise clip that we're going for. You can see it. Couple things here I'm going to remind you of. 1. Be in a car that has all of its hearts. You can see at the top left of your screen, those 5 silver hearts in this car. We have all 5 of them. That enables player 2 to go, whoa, whoa. And when he's going, whoa, he's able to clip into walls that you normally wouldn't be able to clip into. It looks like we've got a good setup here. And if he's right off the edge here, we can actually just fall through the wall that we normally wouldn't be able to pass through and get this farmer costume early. So let's see if we got it.
Sembra sia per questo che non le usino più.
We did indeed. You just fall through. And again, a couple bit of, just a bit of muscle memory. You want to go kind
se
of
pensi di
back
non
left
essere
of
in
this
grado
garage
di...
until you hit this
sono in
B.
grado.
Grande.
And we've got
Dammi
farmer
un'iniezione,
early.
gli dico che stai arrivando.
And that wall is solid. That wall, you can't go through it normally. Those few things enable us to do some very cool things and get farmer. And farmer is very important. We're going to continue to progress the story here, but we're going to do some two-player driving. And you might this is one of the hardest skilled parts of the run. I would argue. We're going to drop out with second player. And with player 1, we're going to go to the grapple cutscene. So we're going to follow these green studs. We're going to drop in player 2 right around here. Hopefully you can get a boosty car with player 2. Boosty, as we know, saves time. And so this is really, you just wanna practice this. If your car flips over because you went down the hill, press X to get back up. And I'm going to get out here right by this tunnel. I'm even gonna get out with second player, and we're gonna go right to the cutscene. The muscle memory. That's all I can say about that. What's really cool here is because we can teleport first player to second player. All we have to do here, while second player appears to be here during the cutscene, the game remembers his location back at the tunnel. So if we warp here, whoop, we're right back over here. And we're here with first player. So what we want to do here is we want to be very good with our timing. We're boosting with Hanker. We want to remember to just keep that boost on. Just keep the thumb on the X button. Boost as much as possible. And we're gonna head back towards Auburn.
Ehi, Chase, abbiamo un problema.
We're down where the train is. That's alright. We want to get back up
Non riusciamo a
onto
stabilire in quale
the
palazzo si
bridge.
stiano nascondendo
So
adesso
I'm
i
actually gonna
rapinatori.
take some
Il
time
capo ha
here.
mandato alcuni agenti a fare delle ricerche,
You
ma
know, this
forse
is
tu puoi
hard.
accelerare
With
le
player
cose.
2, you
Se
saw me, I
riesci a
just
salire
jump
sul
scaled
tetto
up
del
this
fast
hill
food che ho
and we can
segnato
get
sulla
this
mappa.
super brick here, but we
Usare lo
want to get
scanner
it
per capire in quale edificio
with a
si
multiplier.
trova.
This is going to
Esatto.
save us a lot of
In bocca al
time
lupo, Chase.
getting super bricks later. I'll show you some of the backups that you can use if you don't get a multiplier here. But if you hit enough things, you can see ×2. You want a ×3 here, and we're going to get that super brick. And you see, we have 30,000 bricks now. We've used quite a lot, but we have also gained quite a lot. And now all you need to get for the entire rest of the run is a 10k brick somewhere. I'll show you all the brick locations. If you don't want to go for that, if you think the timing is too tight to get that multiplier, it's pretty forgiving. You can get there, a couple seconds. Of course, it's one player movement, but one player's driving, one player's moving. It's hard, so I get it if you want to go for something else. But we're just similar. Yeah, now we can just drive with first player. First player is just gonna go all the way to our next place. Remember, boosting is the key. If you don't get a boosty card there, you should still get the multiplier, but it's hard. You might be thinking, oh, we want to get this cutscene here. We don't. We want to go underneath this thing with whatever car you've got. Warp in second player. Player 2 is going to warp up there, and it triggers the cutscene already with less movement, and that's perfect. So, player 2, we've got the grapple gun now. We've got farmer, as you can see with first player. Just switch to him there real quick. We're gonna jump up this ladder here. You can kind of jump up ladders, but it's kind of risky. I normally do a jump or two in the burger. And player 1 simultaneously is doing all of these grapple things. And you can scan with player 2. And all you have to do is pretty much just hold up until you get one of them. Scan him. And player 1 is right here. We collected that blue brick, and you can see, or blue stud, and you can see we're right by where we need to go into the level. Boop. That's what I love to call a pre-gib. It's beautiful. This is still chapter 2, but we're nearing the end of it. This is where we get to start seeing, you might be like, well, we lost time getting farmer. How do we gain that time back? And this is where we're going to gain some time back.
Non sono più in forma come una volta. Mi sa che sto per svenire.
We're going to do some more warping
Sarà
here.
il modo di
You
raggiungere
remember
l'edificio più
how
a
we
fianco.
warp. Jump and warp there. Jump and warp at the left side here. Sometimes it gets you up in one, sometimes it doesn't. We're actually going to go to the left or to the right here. Jump and warp here, and I'm going to warp second player up here because I am my second player controller is better than my first player controller, and this is where, folks, take notes. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna show you a couple of tricks here. Normally you would break a couple things, build the jump pack over, but you've got to break a couple things and jump over, and then you see a cutscene that you can't skip. So we like to do this instead. Yeah, this is one of the main time saves from Farmer right here, from getting Farmer. So as you can see, the second controller on my screen shows, I can't get it right now, but if you do a precise mash of the two bumpers where you're switching your two costumes and A, you get a triple jump, and you want to make sure that you time that right after your character starts to fall down again. If you do it like right away, you know, you'll just flip forward. If you're falling down though, you should be good. This is our second trick, chicken gliding. If you are at all a fan of Lego City Undercover, you've seen me do a bunch of chicken glides. Best way that I can say to figure it out, practice. What you want to do, what I do is I hit my bumper and A at the same time, and then go back, and then you just do it over and over again. I practiced somersaults for 5 hours one day to just get this down for Undercover percent. Because if you don't get some of these things first try, you just don't get it. You might be like, oh, we can just extend a chicken glide over to our next part over here, but we just barely don't hit the fence. Don't even try. We've all tried. So what we want to do, because we want to preserve as much height as possible, we want to triple jump into chicken glide, and then you want to continue to extend a chicken glide, because as many times as you extend a chicken glide, you keep height. So I missed a couple chicken glides there. I didn't keep my height. That's alright. Bound to happen, even for a veteran like me. I mess up too. But this is the main trick, and you just want to land on that fence post. I would like to get this though. I really would. Maybe I need to do another 5 hours in somersaults. Didn't quite get the fence there. Unfortunate. It's a very, very precise trick, and it takes a while. It is one of the best ways to enjoy. I messed up there. I probably could have gotten that if I went right up that wall. Let me just quickly get this, folks. My goodness. Alright, there we are. We've landed on the fence post. Normally, you can hop up this pole here, but you're not able to if you don't jump over normally and trigger the cutscene. We're going to up warp here with player 2. Player 2 is going to hop up here. Sometimes the warps get a little bit weird. I'll be honest. I kind of dislike them sometimes, but that's just kind of par for the course. I will lose up to like 20 seconds there because of bad warps. But if you get a good warp like that, you're on for a good pace. If you get that first try trick into good warps, you will have God tier clown chapter 2. God tier somersaults. This is the fastest that it can be done. And you're just gonna parkour over here. Nobody's, they're still stuck over here, so you don't need to hit anybody. And if you're on PC, you can do a fun little trick over here. You go down. Normally you would go up, but we found out something quite recently. You can do all these, much easier parkour. Normally I like to chicken glide over here so that you don't have to hop up that last time. But that's alright. You're going to parkour up here. Get onto this pole. Watch the controller and see what I do. So what I did there was I jumped up on the pole and then I left the pole at the same... So I jumped up and then during the jump, I just exited the pole. It launched me up high enough that I could chicken glide on over here. And this is faster than going up the other wire and doing another triple jump extended chicken glide up here. This is good. What I like to do here is I like to precisely get on top and then chicken glide from here. Not sure if this saves a lot of time. You kind of got a blind chicken glide over here. And then, you know, you're kind of up here a little bit. Not sure if it saves time or not. You can sometimes get some triple jumps up there. I should have gotten that. I just barely missed it. And I didn't get that second one. But you can parkour up normally. And then you can see there's actually 2 grapple points here. One's floating in space. That's because we didn't trigger this cutscene. And we're able to grapple up and go over here. Skip another cutscene. And that is the end of Chapter 2. That is the end of Somersaults. If you get that first trick down into good warps, and then that second trick is pretty easy if you can get extended chicken gliding, you are doing fantastic. And we are halfway through the run. Optimally, you know, a little bit less than halfway, but, you know, we're only going through Chapter 4 for Undercover Percent. I guess I should have explained what Undercover Percent is. But we're only going through Chapter 4. Chapters 1 through Chapter 4. And as fast as possible.